Hey YouTube, the reason why I'm doing this video is to talk about hacking. Okay, a lot of people don't understand hacking. Hacking is just like say a snake, python, or whatever the case may be, where this snake shows its head. When you see the head of the snake, you have to report immediately. What this means is you're going to see a malfunction, a dysfunction, something's wrong. Okay, it may be a price differential on an item. You are guaranteed the price of this item. This item has always been $2.99. You look in a system and you ring it up for a customer and it rings up at $3.50. Um, you go back again later on and that price brings up at $2.99. But for a particular customer, it rounded up at $3.50. There, and it's the same product, it's the same item, it's the same thing. This is called hacking. So your system is already compromised. But how is it compromised? Can you tell where the compromise took place at? Okay, basically, the compromise took place. They're embedded in your software. They're hid in your software. Basically, a regular diagnostic would not alert them to this type of hack. What you would have to do, you have to go file by file, and 9 times out of 10, you won't find it in the first frontal files. You will most likely find it as you're surfing through. And when you usually find it, it sits up there, it attacks to a bug that will completely take out the whole system so that you can't detect who or what they are. You have to be prepared for major hacks. So what this is, you will have to isolate the system, do a backup system, isolate that system that you're checking, and basically check file by file to find what's hacking your system. They're not going to tell you this. They don't care a lot of things. Once you see the situation, report it to upper management. If upper management doesn't do that, once you report to corporate, there's nothing you can do. I have done all that I can do. I have no control over whether or not a company will do their due diligence and secure themselves. I have done everything that I could possibly do. Basically, this type of hack is intentional ciphering. They're going to slowly take money from you, slowly take money from the customers. They probably already have all the customers' credit cards, been stealing money off the cards for the longest. It has been small amounts, monetary amounts, but at the same time, it still adds up. It still shows issues and stuff like that. But if you don't stay on top of it, like seriously, the moment this happens, a lot of times people are housed in other people's facility. I tell people this all the time. House your own equipment, house your own backup software equipment. Make sure you're housing all of your backup equipment, everything that you have in your own facility. Have a special facility aside for this. Make sure that you pay for that security and stuff like that. Make sure that the security have marker points. When I say marker points, every once in a while they have to get up, they have to do a check. Make sure that this facility is completely secure. Only everyone that goes in and out of that facility is documented, and not by just a computerized system, but by manual, hands-on paperwork. Computerized system, remind you, can be hacked. That snake does not always show up. The files are deleted. Information is deleted. A lot of things will come up missing when it comes time because they don't want you to connect back to the person that is doing the infiltration. So you might have Mark, which is your tech person. Mark comes into the facility. He's checking in the facility. Mark is training another person by the name of Charles. Charles came into the facility with Mark at such and such time. Mark left Charles to complete an update or whatever, and he continued on with his day. He came back and picked up Charles round about what, 3, 4 o'clock that afternoon. Charles had been there the whole day by himself. Immediately after, You had a data collapse after Charles left. The question is now going to be, what was Charles' involvement with the data collapse? You know, and a lot of times you have to interrogate Charles, and Mark will also be interrogated as well, because Charles may have not done anything wrong, but it was Mark who basically is your hacker. But like I said, you will not know these different things unless you investigate. Now, this is all coming from training and stuff like that. I had been trained on these situations. I had been trained to notify certain things and stuff like that. Remind you, a lot of these systems are like snakes. Honestly, a hacking situation, somewhat like a snake, a worm, a parasite, whatever. You're gonna have to sit up there and be able to identify it, notify it. You may not know how long that thing has been there. It may have been there 5 years, and no one was able to identify it because they're not used to looking at prices of the items that you guys sell at your store, and stuff like that. The one store that has changed a lot, I remember Dollar Tree. Everything's $1.25. Now they're bringing in like $3 and $5 items and stuff like that, $2 items, and it may be you're gonna have to pay like keep a close eye on those items and how they're tallying up, how they're ringing up, what's really going on with those items, knowing what items cost what, making sure that all items are marked with the price that they're supposed to cost. A lot of stores have gotten away from that. And I believe that in this season, we have to make sure that we're putting the price, the actual price on there. Not saying that that will help, because they have other things. I told you guys I'm experiencing vision compromise. So they have other methods of defrauding and taking from people. I'm just telling you, hey, just keep your eye out, keep alert, keep focused. Make sure you're reporting, make sure you're doing this, because by the time that these people actually get aware, everything's gone. Remind you, these are religious thieves. We're dealing with a culture of religious thieves. They have a culture of the seven deadly sins. They don't care how they do it. They stealing, they 10 commandments. They don't believe in none of that. They got religions for that, where they're not going to follow God. They're not going to follow those commandments. So they got a religion for stealing. They got a religion for sexual immorality. They got a religion for just doing covenant, being a covenant type person, just trying to take everything. You know what I'm saying? Just watching a person can't go anywhere, and you just sitting there watching. You all in your neighbor's house instead of watching your own business, sleeping around your own front door. They got religions for this thing, man. So know what you're dealing with, know the type of people you're dealing with, know the type of people you don't want in your atmosphere and your environment. Learn to weed and seed them. Look, I don't want you around me. Why? Because I'm a person of God. If I have to tolerate you, I'll tolerate you until judgment day. But when judgment day come, it's either me or you. And truth be told, if they don't remove me from around you, I'm gonna remove myself, because I don't like people that live a certain alternative lifestyle of me. I serve God. That's all I know. So I don't need them hacks happening to me, because I know for a fact half of the stuff we're going through when we talk about vision compromise, when we're talking about sodomite behavior and Gomorrah behavior, Sodom and Gomorrah behavior, and all this different stuff extends to the culture that they're trying to cultivate now. It extends to the behavior that they're trying to cultivate now. And the only thing that's against it is God. But they want the devil to be God, and that's not going to happen. So we serve faithfully, we serve good, and we do what God say do. So be careful with these people, because they don't care. Hopefully these words encourage you guys. Remember, make sure you report. Even if you report into them and they the enemy, make sure that you're doing the reports the best you can. If you have to stay um incognito, maybe using your initials or something, just to do the reports, just to make sure you letting them know, hey, this is still going on. It hasn't stopped. You're not doing your job. It hasn't stopped, whether they care or not, because 9 times out of 10 they don't. But at some point, there's a new day coming and everything's going to be turning over. But until that day, you know, you got to survive. You got to endure. You got to do the best that you can possibly do and get a rest of God. And hopefully, God, people, is working because we love representing that Jesus piece. Hopefully, it's working. Take care.